Let's take a long walk down memory lane in AutoCAD architecture all the way back to when it was called Architectural Desktop. So what I have on the screen in front of me is a door and a wall with a very simple tag that just shows the width and the height. Now, believe it or not, there is a built-in solution in AutoCAD architecture to do something very similar to that, not exactly like that. Now, the one that you see here comes from Archidyme's custom content, and on our palette for annotation on openings, we have a variety of tags that we've designed, including this one here that'll show the square feet for energy calculations and other things, but mostly we have that for energy calculations. So these tags work just like regular tags. They have data and property data stuff. That's complicated. Way back before all of that stuff occurred or was built into the product, they had something that looks like this. For a door, you would type in, you're not going to find this command. You have to type it in, door, label, add. You go ahead and you select your door, enter, and then you get this interesting dialog box, which goes back so far that you had to specify the scale of your tag as it comes in. But it was before annotative scaling, so you would specify the scale. Now I'm going to ignore that stuff. Now notice here it has the tag option up here, and then rotation and so forth. I'm just going to go ahead and hit OK. Now you'll see nothing occur on the screen, most likely. It all depends on what your display configuration is set to. So I'll run down and set it to high. And now I will actually see a tag show up. If I set it to low, it goes to that. If I set it to medium, there's nothing. I don't think it'll show up under standard. So we'll just take a look here under high. Now notice under high versus low, it changes size. This goes way back. So I'll go ahead and put this thing on high detail. Let's break this thing down and figure out how it works, maybe make it better, and maybe you can use it. Or, I've given up on it. I actually use the custom tags that we've created, but it may have validity for you. At least it'll be an entertaining journey here. Now, whenever you bring something like this in, pick on it and find out what it is. This thing over here on my properties palette says it is a multi-view block. Multi-view blocks can be inserted. So we'll do an MV block, and we'll go ahead and add an MV block, and we'll find it over here. It's called standard door label, and we'll just pop it in here and hit enter, and we get nothing. So let's do it again, and let's see, can we fill in any properties? No. So the problem is it has no default properties. So I'm going to actually undo back to the point before I inserted it. It's weird to create an MV block with attributes in it that have no default values, because then you can't actually see it when it's been put in. So there would have been an invisible MV block in there. Not a good deal. What we'll go to next then is we'll go to insert, and we'll see what we can find out about that particular label or MV block. So just because I've tinkered with it before, way back, I know that it has this weird 50 and 100 as a suffix to the label name. I'm going to go ahead and just pick the 100. So this goes back to a time when they considered scale as 1 to 100 and 1 to 50. There was no annotative scaling available, all handled manually. So I'm going to pick the 1 to 100, hit OK, and pick a point. And now I'll get that dialog box that allows me to specify something. If I leave it blank, I won't be able to see anything on the screen. So I'm just going to type in 1, 2, 3, and 4, 5, 6. And so what comes in here is a block with attributed information in it. I can see on my properties palette over here, it's unitless. It has a scale factor of something like 1 inch here, and of course my values. So this is sort of a useless block in the modern day of AutoCAD architecture. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to fix it. I'm going to go down here, and I'm going to change the scale to a 1 to 1. So that's 1 foot equals 1 foot, or if you have on there 1 to 1, I'll set that 1 to 1. Now nothing is going to change on this because it is not an annotatively scaled object. But we're going to turn it into one, so we'll want that one-to-one scale to be there. Okay, now the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to draw a line, and I'm going to type in INSERT for insertion point. And I want to find the insertion point of this particular block. Now it's finding the text, but I'm pretty sure that is the insertion point right here, and I was wrong. The insertion point is actually at the front of this thing. So it's finding the text, which is a little bit irritating. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to grab this thing, use the grip, and pull it over here. This was a left justified object. This other object up here I don't care about. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to go into, I'm going to select it, right-click, I'm going to go to Block Editor, all right, and I'm going to get rid of this stuff in millimeters. That was for metric back then, and this was a way of indicating the metric value, cm, mm, you know, for metric. Now I've got the text in here, and I'm going to go ahead and run over here, and on the Properties palette, I'm going to say I don't want to annotate it. I don't want the text annotated. I do want the block annotated. We'll address that in a minute. I would like this to be, let's say, justified middle center. Makes more sense to me. Now you'll notice it moved over, so we'll fix that. And it's got some other things in here, width factor of 0.7. It's got a height. I probably want to set the height to something for annotative scaling. So if you've watched any of the other videos or you're familiar with how AutoCAD architecture works with tags and scaling, we'll need to set the height that we want it to be. So for example, I probably would want this 1/8. But because it is a tag, we're going to want to change that value by a factor to compensate for this value here. Oops, that's not the, I wanted to show you units. Now I've talked about this in other videos, but under units, you will see there's a scale here of 3/32. That's actually 10.3333. So I have to take this, I know it's ridiculous, but I have to take this 1/8 and I have to upscale it. So if we take the 1 divided by 8 and then multiply it by 10.33333, we get this, right? So I can just copy that, and I'll go set that over here for the value. There we go. So that's the actual height that I want it to be. Width factor, I guess, is okay. I tend to not like things that tight. I would typically not go under 0.75, but it's all up to you. Okay, now as we go down here, we'll just escape. Well, I can see I have this thing here. So we'll take this now and move it from the center to 0, 0. Okay, so that is good. It's sitting in the right location. And we're going to escape, and now we'll go over here in the Properties palette and see where it says Annotative. Now I've not got anything selected. So now it shows me the properties of the block, not the text. And I can change that now to be an annotative scaled block. I also want the units to set to inches so it understands that. I think, well, we could change the description. We could just say a default door tag, something like that. And what I would like to do is double click on it and take a look here. So the tag says head height. That means nothing to us right now, but it's in there, leave it alone. The prompt says head height, then there's no default. Why don't we just make a default so we don't have that weird problem again? Head height. All right. And we'll go ahead and save this now. Save the changes. All right. Now, if you've worked with attributes in the past, you may know this little neat trick is ATT sync. So ATT SYNC. You need to hit blocks with attributes in it with this command after you've modified them, so you see the latest changes. And so now that thing should be sitting, yeah, that's good. So I don't have to work on that anymore. It's sitting right where it should be. Now we'll go to the multi-view block, MV block. D for definition, and we'll find it up here. It's called standard door label. And what we'll do is we'll add that to the general. Notice, see, theirs was only under high and low. So I'm going to stick it under general, and here it is, the 100, the one that says 100 on it. That's the one I picked. I only need it for top, so I'm going to get rid of all these others. Now I'll go down to plan, high detail, remove it, low detail, remove it, and make sure it's not available under anything else. So now it'll show up for everything, and I think I'm good. Apply, okay. And we'll grab the one that's sitting here, or we can add it again. I'll just dump that one, and I'll just do door, label, add. Oops, door, label, add. I'll go ahead and select the door. All right, and we'll leave all of that stuff alone, and we'll just use the tag. So there it is as 1-to-1. We'll test it now. We'll go 1/4 inch equals a foot. And I've noticed when I tinkered with this is that it doesn't want to seem, oh, there, that might be it. I may also, let's go back. I didn't have this set to automatically update, so let's go back to 1-to-1. But you can also manually add the scale. We'll go back to 1-to-1, here we go. And then we'll go 1/4 inch equals a foot. Yeah, there we go. So now I can place that. I probably would want it maybe here. This is the working one, so we'll move that out of the way. All right, so it's looking pretty good. We can test the height here. This should be, if I draw this up, that should be 6 inches. Yeah, so that's looking good. What I don't like is the way it says head. I would prefer that all caps. So now we're going to get into down the old memory lane of early AutoCAD, actually when it was called Architectural Desktop. Check this out. Go into Options, OP, cruise over to where it says Dimensions. So there's a last tab here, AEC Dimensions. And notice on this list over here we have something called Dimension Label Prefixes. Interesting. On this list, you can go and you'll see there's one for doors, windows, openings, and stairs. That's the list. They're not, I don't know, they're not really dimensions, so that can confuse you with the idea of AEC dimensions. These are just default tags. And I'm going to change this one to door so we can see where it's getting the head value from. So see how it says head back here? Well, that's coming from right where it says head height. So the reason it's spelling H-E-A-D in lowercase is because of this. I could write H, or I could write head. I could even write this. I can write whatever I want as a true prefix. We can also go down to where it says width, change that, or W if you want to just do W, but I'll do it like this so we can read it. And I'm going to change to where it says height. Okay. So now, see where it says on the left here? Keep those terms in mind. That's what we'll want to remember. And I'm going to go ahead now and do an apply. Okay. And actually, this should fix. There we go. It fixes itself. I'm going to go back to 1-to-1. I'm going to go in here, pick the original block, right-click, block editor. Okay. Now I'm going to copy this down. And I'm going to be deliberate about it. So 1 3/4 looks pretty good. So 1.75. And I'm going to change this value to height. And I'll just cut and paste this here. All right. And I'm going to copy this value, this one again. 1.75. And I'm going to change this one to width. All right, and I'm going to go ahead and save that. Okay. I'm going to go back to 1/4 inch equals a foot. I'm going to dump that tag. I might be able to just slip it around. No, it doesn't want to update. So I'm going to go door, label, add. Okay, and there it is. So now, I'll go ahead and I'll just, I can I can wiggle it. See, it doesn't come in at the right scale. That's a little bit of a bug with it. And I just go like this and just add the current scale and you're good. And I mean, keep in mind, this is a very ancient thing. It's a legacy thing. So I've got some errors here. So, you know, when I did them all centered, so you may want to do maybe left or right or whatever. You see how it goes, the options on how to set the justification. I just made the first one, assuming maybe you would only want one in there, as centering on, so when it comes in, it centers on the object. Now, the last thing we need to look at is, check this out. Let's see, we need to go to annotate, and we need to change the dimension to, let's say, standard. That'll mess it up good. And then go ahead and just move it over like this. I don't even think I need to do anything. Just jiggle it a little bit here. And see what it does? It now converts it all to whatever the current dim style units is set for. So, and it'll do that. You can't lock it in. So that's a little bit weird. But you're probably going to run your dimensions in one that's correct anyway. So I was just running annotative here. And again, if I just jiggle it a little bit, it should go. Let's see, annotative. There we go. Just whatever, a little jiggle there. So that's something to know as well. Now this is, you know, it's pretty old stuff. What else? I know there was something else. That gives you the general idea. Now you'll need to leave this MV block. You'll need to have that in your template file, whatever file you plan on using. You know, because we modified this. But you can make your own name, for example. It doesn't have that. You get to select it when you type in door label add. Okay, so the last thing I wanted to do is I want to do a stair add. And I'm just going to do a default straight stair. What is it, 9 feet up? Yeah, that's good, like this. All right, they have one for stairs. So you saw it was doors, windows, openings, and stairs. So it's the same nomenclature as stair, label, add. And then you go ahead and you pick your stair. And then they have a MV block for that by default. And again, because we haven't modified it, it's going to have the same issues as the one for the door, so I have to go to high detail to see it. But check that out. That's kind of cool. You can make your own better tag than this, but I wanted to show this as a legacy thing. And see how it says 16 risers? You don't really know that that's risers, so you can go back to options, and you can go to stair here, and you can just type in. Now, notice they say prefix. I would call this kind of a suffix, but take a look here. I'm just going to type in R for risers. Okay, and then out, and that should auto-update. So now we have 16R. So see, it's a sort of a suffix after the number of risers, but I guess it's a prefix on the rise and run value. I think that's kind of it. Interesting. Hope you enjoyed it. I'm out.